Ladies and gentlemen, Tactical Advance here. Welcome back to some more ARMA 3. Now, I thought I'd take a look at some of the actual development guns that are in development, and sniper rifles mainly, actually, because, so far I've been quite impressed with ARMA 3 in general, and I was aware of a couple of new rifles and also rangefinders that have been added, so I decided to take a look. So I've set up this in front of us, picked out some guys, which are all shootable, and they will respawn. And then what I plan to do is just run a couple of tests. They're just my tests. As you can see, they will just respawn. And just to run some tests to see basically how the guns perform, what the recoil's like, how do they perform in the game. I'm no gun expert, guys. I'm just purely, trying this out just to see what they're like. So here we go. So the first one we're going to look at is the Linux. Two versions of the Linux, one with a scope and one without a scope. I know what you're thinking, one without a scope, but believe it or not, you have the very similar, the ACOG sight, where you can flick between iron sight or not. Now, I've got affinity ammo, so it's the reason for the constant fire, but I'm just doing it for the demonstration, so I don't have to carry 6,000 mags with me. Now, first of all, let's look at the gun. It looks epic. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, I was so impressed. I've been here for nearly an hour just with these guns, just firing them. There's only two of them in a rangefinder. Check out that reload, right? I'm going to do some side shots of it, but the animation of the reload, I thought, was probably one of the best reloads I've actually seen. I mean, it looks very good. The actual gun itself looks very detailed. Real to as it can be, actually. I mean, I've gone online and actually did a little bit of research on the gun, actually, and one thing I noticed is the actual muzzle at the end, pretty much the foot and a half at the end, looks like it actually can de-extend and extend. You're probably thinking, what the hell? But yeah, I know. It actually pops out when you go to fire. I don't know how you de-extend it, but I've seen some of the desert ones where it can de-extend. Now, the idea of the end of the barrel is that it takes the shock. Now, I'm just going to reload a few times so you can see this anyway. See just take a look at this animation. I'm not seeing anything glitchy there, do you know? Even this is in development, I'm not seeing anything that I thought, oh, that looked a bit odd. His hand went a bit spastic then. Now, the first test I was, quite interested to do, because obviously we're getting up to the sort of the 50 cal rifle now, the big guns, is how many men can I kill if I shoot them down in a row? Would it pass through the body? So I tried it out. So here we go. First of all, it sounds absolutely awesome. There we go. So it definitely went through two there. Now, I've tried this many times, guys. I've stood here for quite a long time. I tried changing the angles and everything, trying to get the bullet to go through more than two, and I couldn't achieve that. No matter what I tried. Now, maybe what's happening is maybe the bullet's ricocheting, maybe it's hitting their gun, maybe that it wouldn't go through two, but I probably think that it would, more than likely would. But as I say, it's in development. I'm not 100% certain myself, but you would have thought so. Now, the next sort of test I thought I'd run is start looking at things like recoil, how the actual gun when it fires. And you can actually see that end muzzle de-extending and extending, and that's to take the shock of the actual, obviously, the round. And look at it's the impact on his shoulder when he actually fires the gun as well. So, next test. Now, I thought there was a couple of tests to actually do. The test I thought I'll do is, let's just see what the actual recoil is. Now, I can't bother to walk over there, so I'm going to teleport myself over there. Oops, wrong one button. Here we go. Now, what I'm going to do is have a look at the actual recoil and the aiming of the gun when in the stances, just to see, does it make a difference? Get a bit closer. Now, the first, obviously, the position is standing up. Now, you can see that it does waver around a little bit. I can hold my breath, which does stabilise it, but still gives you... Oh, didn't do my range. But it also it still gives you quite a lot of waving around, even when you're stabilizing when you're standing up, which is sort of expected really, because first of all, you're carrying this weapon, it's bloody heavy, but the fire rate of the gun is actually relatively good. So let's take a couple more shots. Now, next stance, obviously, there's kneeling stance. Now, I was thinking to myself, you know, does it make a difference if you change that stance? So we're going to give that a go in a sec. See, look at the shock on his shoulder. It's not actually that bad. The shock on his shoulder is not that bad. Now, I'm assuming that's to do with the muzzle at the end taking that impact. Now, same thing again. You can see, not holding my breath, waving around. But you could take a shot on that. It sort of wavers around within his body area at this range, very short range obviously. Now obviously if you're going to be shooting it down range, a long way away, it's going to be a different story. Now we'll see the impact on his shoulder when you're lying down. Same thing again, take the shots first. Now you can see now that it's obviously because you're in that position, which is expected from a sniper rifle. A snake. Which is pretty stable, but I mean that wobble, you might say to yourself, if you're shooting over 1,000, obviously then that wobble's going to be quite extensive. If you're shooting 600 to 700, you're going to be alright. So fire rate is good. That is definitely noted. Now, the impact on your actual body. This is the other thing I was looking at as well, because I was thinking, okay, the muzzle's there. What is the impact like? You know, how much of his body actually moves? And I do the sort of similar sort of test between these weapons, or this weapon, and the other sniper rifle, which would do the sort of same tests. And you can sort of make your conclusion of what you think, you know? So, okay, enough looking at the weapon because it looks absolutely amazing. And do you know what? It's probably, like I said, it's probably one of the best the models I've actually seen for actual weapon. I mean, you know, you see them all. It looks more realistic, and it's a bit of a shame actually, because one thing I did actually notice, obviously, the tripod, which you can't actually use yet, which is not in the game. But that obviously is going to give you that extra stability as well. You know, having that ability to actually mount the tripod. You can see the impact in his body now. It's not a lot, hardly anything at all, I'd say. It's a little bit of a shake, but you can see the nozzle is definitely taking the brunt of it. And if that wasn't detracting like that, then obviously that would obviously pass through the body, I assume. Okay, so I'm going to teleport down here. Oh, didn't teleport. Put myself about between 550, 600 maybe. Now, I was going to set up some long range shots, but I just wanted to do a sort of demonstration video more about, we all know it can shoot 1,500. You might better get maybe 1,800 out. You could possibly get that out of it, but it's like, it was more about the character animations, how the gun performs, you know, how, not accurate it is, but how much strafe you've got when you're actually trying to aim. What's it like in the different positions and how they fare out between the two. So now you've got the rangefinder. Now we all know we've got this bloody rangefinder on the normal scope where you can sort of scroll and it gives you the range. But what they've actually added, which I haven't equipped it yet, but which I'm going to do now, is rangefinders, which look really good. Which are here. Is it scopes or something? Grenades, items, no, binoculars. That's it. They've added these and yeah, I mean I like them. I mean the zoom on them is absolutely ridiculous. But if I zoom in. Pretty epic. Now, obviously, you can see the range there. It's saying 550. That's quite nicely done. As soon as they remove the range from the game, but by you know, just by scrolling, the better, because it shouldn't be in the game really. It just makes it, even though I use it all the time. So we know the range anyway, which we could have gained anyway from just scrolling. So Let's take a couple of shots. Leave on about 500. First of all, try in this position, see what it's like, holding your breath. Is it actually, you know, how stable is it? Obviously, you can see the wobble there. That's not obviously holding your breath, which is quite extensive. You're going to have to wait for the pointer to sort of scroll past an enemy before you would probably take the shot. Now, obviously, holding your breath is now going to be obviously a different story. And lying down, because obviously it's going to be a lot stabler. Now, once you hold your breath, very stable. The breath back. So, impressed so far. Really like the weapon. Animation's good. Accuracy is, you know, pretty good. And I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, between the two sniper rifles, you know, which sniper rifle is actually the best sniper rifle. You know, it's very difficult to say. But from my conclusion, what I found is I prefer the other one, which is coming up. And I don't know. I just felt that maybe it was just a little bit more stable. But at the end of the day, don't forget, these are all in development anyway. So these are weapons that are not even launched to the public domain yet. And when they do go into the public domain, you know, they might be changed. The stability might be changed. You know, the actual strength, they might be nerfed. Who knows? But we're going to give this one a go now. This is the M320. It's the LRR. Is it LLR or LRR? One or the other. They're very much the same. First of all, I had a look at the animation. The only thing I was a little bit disappointed with was the cartridge. Now, with the other one, he sort of took the cartridge out. It did disappear. Oh, there we are. It did it that time. There we are. The first one, it didn't actually do that. It just stayed in there. There we go. Pretty impressive once again. Animation, 10 out of 10. I mean, very good. From all angles, it looks pretty impressive. Even the way he's holding the gun as well, which looks pretty good. Now, obviously, you know what the first test is. First test I did last time was really just have a look and see what the impact is. Now, you can obviously see the nozzle at the end is not detracting. This is a fixed gun. And you can see that the impact on the shoulder is, I would say, not significant, but it is a lot more than the previous gun, I would say. Because I'm assuming that shock is getting passed through to the body because there's nothing there to really take that impact. But have a look at the bolt as well when you fire that. It's very slow coming back. I'm assuming that is how the gun normally operates, obviously, but you know, like I said, I'm not 100% familiar with these, only what I've just Googled. Sounds great. Now, once again, same test as last time. Definitely 2. Oh, way off there. Time moved a little bit, and I. 2. Now I did play about with this earlier. I tried, you know, I tried all different angles trying to get more than 2, but so I wasn't successful actually getting more than 2. That was 2. Like I said, there might be ricocheting off in the body somewhere, or maybe that they are getting dampened that much. Now, both of these weapons actually come in 2 forms, believe it or not. One comes with a scope, one comes without. You can actually use it, you know, ACOG as well, if you really wanted to. I suppose you would have to. I mean, in the normal ARMA, obviously, you don't have that option to go between, you know, an ACOG sight with a sniper rifle, which is a pain in the arse if you're playing like a game. You need to carry more than one weapon. With this, obviously, even with all the sniper rifles, you have the choice not only to go to ACOG, but to also take the scope off the weapon, which is an interesting scenario. So, same test as last time. Standing up, first of all. See what the sway's like. Probably could actually fire like that. Not as far as last time, but it gives you sort of an idea. obviously I was looking at the impact on my body there. Although my body looks like it's taking a bigger impact, it looks like there's less recoil on the gun, doesn't it? It does look like that. Now, obviously in this position. Now look at the impact the body takes there. It's definitely more, I'm sure it is. I mean, I don't know if it's me going mad, but watch the body there. Look, watch when I fire. Pretty serious jolt there, you can see, because there's no give in the gun at all there. And swaying within the body, so sort of expected really. Heavy gun as well. This sort of position. Sways very similar. I haven't really seen much difference between the standing up and the kneeling in the sway. Obviously the significant difference is between, you know, the kneeling down, standing up, and the lying down. The lying down is significantly different. Obviously, because it's you know, it makes sense, but it'd be a shame. It's just such a shame that we actually can't use the tripods. Now, the tripods, there is an ACE mod out there. I think it's actually for ARMA 3 as well, where you can actually use rest. It's a rest mod where you can rest on other players, rest on walls, rest on stuff, and you know, to stabilize the gun. But it'd be good for Bohemian to maybe work on doing the tripods and stuff like that. But the game's so detailed, they could take bloody hundreds of years to finish everything with the amount of detail, you know, they would like to actually put into it. Now, obviously, sway standing up is bloody hard. You know, it's a passing shot, really. Passing shot, you can hold your breath. Now, although the actual recoil's quite high there, the gun does jump up quite high, probably more than the previous, but I find this one's to be more accurate holding your breath when you're standing up. It's easy. I mean, that's doable, isn't it? Not that bad, is it? There's no way as bad as the last one when standing up. Get my breath back a bit. Same thing in this position. Now this is, you know, once again, more than doable, I'd say. Now, obviously, the last stance. No problem at all. I mean, what I've found so far is I think this one seems to be a little bit more accurate. Not just now accurate. I mean, there's less sway. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's me. I'm sure the physics of the gun's actually different, but for me, I've actually preferred this. I find it just to be a little bit more stable, I suppose. And the fact that, you know, it has got a tripod there, which you can't extend, which maybe there's a button to do it. But as I say, I mean, maybe that is coming out in the dev one as well. But I haven't seen any information on the site about having a tripod. Although it's there, or how to extend it. It can't be that hard to do it. It's just about how the animation works between the floor and the character. Because obviously when you lift the gun up, the tripod's going to come off the floor. So the front of the tripod would have to be stuck to the floor for you to deploy it. Otherwise it's going to look slightly odd, isn't it? So, heading back. Now we're sort of getting to the end there. I mean, that's the majority of my test. At the end of the day, guys, look, let me just point out something. I am no gun expert, you know. It's just tactical advance, doing my tests to see, you know, what the new guns are like, you know, how they fire, and a quick comparison to see if, you know, it's the only way I can really gauge it, by actually using something. I found in most of the games you play, you've got to try both of them out for, you know, a period of time, and then you start to learn about, you know, which one's the better weapon. And from the tests I've done so far, I'm preferring this. There's no doubt about that. For no major reason, I just get the feeling that this one's slightly more accurate over the other one. But hey, look, like I said, this is still in development. It's not in the public domain yet. So, you know, in a few weeks' time, you know, when they've changed some of the physics to the gun, you know, it may be a different story. But there's definitely one thing, guys. They sound absolutely brilliant. They look absolutely amazing, and the animation is absolutely epic. Probably one of the best gun animations I've ever seen anyway. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching my video, and if you've enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot. Bye now.